What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be unboxing and doing some testing on some new hardware that was just sent over to me by the guys over at Coda. I hope I pronounced that right. So yeah, thanks to those guys, really appreciate it. So today we're going to be looking at the Samsung 9100 Pro nvme SSD. Now this is a PCIe 5 one, so this is the latest product. There is different capacities you can get this one. This is a 1 terabyte, but it actually goes all the way up to a staggering 8 terabytes. I think the speeds are all the same. They might be a little bit higher on some of the high capacity models, but yeah, I've got the 1 terabyte here, and yeah, I mean, I'd be dreaming if I said I wanted to get my hands on that 8 terabyte one. But yeah, it'd be awesome to have like one hard drive that conquers all. But yeah, 1 terabyte here, and the max speed on this is like 14,700. Is it megabytes? Megabytes per second. Yeah, this is crazy fast, blazing fast. So I'm eager to test this one out. If you know me, I'm always creating content on different videos, making gameplay videos, unboxings, all different kinds of things that all take up space, and the majority of it is all filmed at 4K as well. So yeah, you know how big 4K files are, and especially when you're doing an hour playthrough or something, you've got to chop it and edit it and then render it, and it just takes up your space very fast. And games itself, I do a lot of testing on new games, and games these days can be up to 150, 200 gigabytes if you're playing Call of Duty. So you run out of space very quick on these things. Hence why I said I would like an 8 terabyte one of these, but I mean, you can probably fit a fair amount of definite like content footage on here. So I'm looking forward to seeing and testing how fast this thing is from peer to peer, sending files from devices, because I typically do a lot of stuff with my phone, and I use the Samsung hard drive. In fact, I use this. This is one of the, I think it's the T7. I use this to transfer a lot of footage from my phone over to my PC. So it'd be interesting to see if I put this into my PC or my laptop with this hard drive, just to see how fast I can actually transfer files in between. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be testing some games out on it as well. So one thing to note here is that I do not have a PCIe Express motherboard on my PC. That was one of the things I really wanted to do before I got this sent over, but funds, I just couldn't afford to buy that and a new CPU and then a whole like new cooling system for my PC. So I have another device here which is going to be in a separate video on its own, but you're going to be seeing it in this video as part of the testing. So I have just recently come across this, the Razer Thunderbolt 5 dock, and the killer feature on this, I mean, this is not to do with the Samsung video, but it has an enclosure in here to put in an SSD. So you can actually put in a PCIe Express 5 SSD directly into the dock, and you can move it around by plugging it into different pieces of hardware, and it should hypothetically have the same speeds as if it was on a motherboard, I guess. I'm not an expert on that, but I'm going to put it to the test. So I only have a Thunderbolt 4 laptop, so it's not going to be getting the full capacity, but we are going to do testing on that of transferring, installing games, playing games on it, see if it makes a difference. I'm going to say it now, I'm not going to be as hardcore in testing it statistically as like someone like Digital Foundry or some of the other guys who do more of this stuff for a living. But anyways, I'm going to unbox it, and then we're going to move on to the next stage of testing and probably installing it in here, which I'm going to probably install it in the video for the Razer Thunderbolt dock itself. So it's a really small box here. I'm guessing there's not much in it. You can get a version of this with a heatsink as well if you're worried about that, if you wanted to put it in your PlayStation or something. Luckily, I think this Razer dock actually has cooling built into it, so it should be okay. And I guess we'll find out anyway. So let's open this thing up and show you it, and hopefully we don't like fry this thing just by putting our grubby fingers on it. So there's not going to be much in here for us to unbox. It's just going to be purely the SSD and some instructions, I guess. But yeah, it's great that you can get this in such a high capacity. I mean, 8 terabytes is like probably overkill, but I think for me, I'd say most people would expect to pick up the 2 terabyte model. I think that's like the normal ground for most people, whereas for me, I think the 4 terabyte is probably more where I would like to be, because it's taking a long time to unbox this, by the way. I would normally take more care of these boxes, but this one is like sticking up so well that I'm just going to rip it. So I mean, I'm under the impression that I'm keeping this, and hopefully the guys don't want this back. If so, I really do apologize. Very compact little package in there. We have a nice little envelope here with the SSD itself in, I believe. So yeah, just some clamshells here. Actually, the SSD's down here. This is all the information you're going to need. Nice little package actually for the instruction manual, but you're not here for that. And I mean, it's probably just going to tell you how to install it and maybe how to install the software. So we don't need to look at that. Let's look at the thing itself. And yeah, I'm a bit dubious about picking this thing up, so let's hopefully at least get a nice little shot of this thing. Is it going to focus? Do we have autofocus turned on? I think it worked just for a brief second there. So this is the SSD itself. So it's very small, very dainty. So I'm going to put that into the dock. I'm going to do some testing stuff. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the footage and the rest of the testing, and I guess I'll be seeing you with that very soon. So we're going to be looking how we actually install the SSD into this Thunderbolt 5 dock. So yeah, this is a bit of a video for both the Thunderbolt dock and my review of the Samsung SSD. So first thing you want to do is you want to remove this little hatch from the bottom of the dock. This is obviously going to be different if you want to install this into your computer, but there's many videos which will show you how to do that anyway. So what surprised me actually is this thing here, this little panel is actually metal, so it's quite cool metal, which is going to keep your SSD nice and cool. And on the other side you have like a cooling thing here to stick down to it on either side, so it's going to keep it nice and cool for the heatsink. So take that out of the way. Now you might need a tool for this, you might not. I mean, it looks like a screw. I just brought up like a crosshead, but it seems like it is actually just like a crosshead screwdriver, but you can just do it with your finger. So hopefully it is tight once you get the actual thing in itself. So you want to make sure you get it the right way up. You'll notice by the lines on the actual insert here which way to put it, which is face up like this with the groove here facing towards the edge where the slot is here. So you want to first put this into the slot itself and slide it in there. You'll feel it like clicking a little bit. Then you want to push it down. Make sure the little screw is out of the way. Once it's in, you just twist the screw round to lock it in place, and you're basically good to go. Your hard drive is in, it's locked in with the little nut, and then you put this back in now and keep it nice and compressed with this, and it should be good to go. It should be basically plug and play from that point onwards. So I guess we will test it out. This is without a heatsink. You don't need a heatsink because of the cooling in here. So yeah, I don't think it will fit in with a heatsink, but I haven't got one to test out, so you'll have to let me know in the comments if you have got one with a heatsink and it does or does not fit. So that's as simple as it is. It's basically in now. We'll plug it in and then we can do some testing of the Samsung hard drive for that video, and I guess we'll show you how it works with the dock itself in that video. So thanks for watching guys, and enjoy the rest of the video. So we're going a little handy cam with this, but when plugging in the dock with the SSD into my laptop, the drive, being the first time using it, it didn't actually have a volume assigned to it. So I've had to go into disk management by searching for that obviously, and then it comes up here with the disk 1, which is the 1TB Samsung SSD. It's unallocated a volume yet, so I've gone to initialize the disk, which is disk 1, and I'm hoping this just sorts it out and gives it a volume. So it says it's online now, it says unallocated still, so I don't actually know how to do this straight away, but I'm just going to check if the volume is showing up yet. So yeah, as you can see, still no volume there. So I guess we want to give it a simple volume. Next, and we want like the whole capacity basically, and we want it to have a drive name, which is D on this one, but I do have a fair amount of hard drives upstairs in the PC, so I do want to swap this around. I'm going to give this the letter of S for Samsung and for me, so let's go. NFT, I'm just going to keep it on the default settings and hoping that that is the correct ones. I'm not sure if NTFS or FAT or whatever is the best one for gaming or installing stuff, so we will soon see though. So this should be allocated to a drive now. So if I go into my PC, new volume S, so we are good to go now. So I'm going to have a quick look in Synapse to see if that shows up anything. So we now have the Samsung Magician software, which will give us the updates and firmware and all information on the drives, which is great as well. So I'm going to tell you what's in your computer. You can update your hard drive's firmware from here. With this being a new drive and also the first time using Samsung Magician on this laptop, it doesn't have any of the benchmark information. So I guess if we do a benchmark, it's going to give us like the stats and everything, how it's running and how its diagnostics are. So we're going to do that now. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. It is basically a brand new hard drive, so there isn't anything on it. So I guess we're just going to do the basic test here and see what happens. It's going relatively fast, like I said, because there is nothing on the drive, and it's going to just give me the sequential read, write, and the random write and read speed. So this should be pretty accurate to what we've got in the drive, but with this being through a Thunderbolt dock and going into my laptop through that, I'm not sure if there's going to be any bottlenecking anywhere, but I guess we will find out. So I'm going to just come back to this when the test is done. So this is the benchmark results here. This is out of the box, just using the Samsung Magician. I did have Chrome in the background very frequently just to test the, well, just to look at the Samsung store and see the actual specs on the website. So we got 2694 megabytes sequential and 1042 megabytes on the sequential right there. So if you look at the actual website here, these are the stats it's saying like as the maxes, I guess. So 14,000 megabytes. So I'm not sure. You can see in the small print it says something about the intelligent turbo, right? So I don't know if this is having to be on like a PCIe Express 5 like motherboard and laptop to get the best out of it. But I'm not entirely sure if this was just a very basic benchmark. But these are the stats out of the box that I got. It took 2 minutes to do the benchmark. So the random write looks pretty legit for the stats on there, and looks like the random read might even look a bit higher there, but the sequential I'm not entirely sure on. So yeah, if you guys know more about that, do let me know. But it's going to be faster than what's already in there, and like I said, I do not have a PCIe Express 5 motherboard in this laptop, so I guess the real test would be to eventually do this on my full new PC build when I get one with a PCIe Express 8780XE whatever motherboard. So yeah, we will see. So those are the benchmarks from the basic test. So we are back with another benchmark. This time I've benchmarked the actual SSD built into my laptop. The laptop came out in 2022, so this is definitely a much older, and you would have thought less fast hard drive than this one, which is pretty much top of the range. And you can see that the sequential read and write speeds are nearly 3 times faster built into the motherboard, and the random read speed is a lot higher as well. So what I can tell from this is that with my laptop being a Thunderbolt 4, I don't believe it's getting the full extent of the speed of the hard drive because I'm not getting that bandwidth through. So yeah, do bear that in mind if you are either buying this to plug into this dock specifically, or if you're plugging this SSD into a exclosure, like an external exclosure, you're not going to be getting the full potential out of the Samsung 9100 Pro. So it's probably still going to do the job. I'm going to have to do some gaming tests to see if it does affect performance and stuff, but yeah, the real test for me for this is if I do get my hands finally on a new motherboard and PC build, which I've been trying to for a while, just money is tight. So this is the best option I've got right now to test it. Just with it being like a way to move it around in the dock, even for just data transfer rather than gaming performance, is still going to be a great experience for me. So yeah, let's get into the testing and downloading games now and see how they run. One thing to note if you are using this for gaming and installing games, when you go to install a game for the first time on Steam, the drive is probably not going to show up. So when you go to select your hard drive, you can actually press add drive. There we go. And then you can pick your drive. So mine's going to be S. So yeah, add that and then you're good to go in installing the game. So here we go. So with it being spooky season, I'm going to test out some Silent Hill 2, and this is quite a game that's notorious for a bit of stutter as well. So I'm going to see how it runs on this SSD and see how long it takes to download. So let's go to the downloads now and see what initial speeds we are getting here. So it should be network based. We should be getting the full, like, near enough 800 megabytes from my internet connection. Disk usage 500 megabytes per second there. So I'll have to install a game on my normal SSD just to see the difference there, but that could be based on the type of game you're installing and the servers and things like that. So let's go and wait till this game is installed and test it out. So once installed on the 9100 Pro drive, I tested out some Silent Hill 2 with the gameplay you're seeing here. And in terms of the performance and the speed, it seemed to be running pretty much identical, if not a little bit better. I didn't really tell much of a difference between the internal drive and on this drive, but like I said, this is being bottlenecked massively by the PCIe Express on the laptop and the dock I'm using. So at least it's not a worse performance, so it seems pretty good. The only things you'll notice in the gameplay is a little bit of traversal stutter when we're going into different areas through doorways, but that is just a notorious issue that Unreal Engine 5 has. So in terms of running a game on this drive in this setup, it seems to run pretty much perfectly in terms of what we are using. So next up, I decided to transfer a big 17GB 4K file from my T7 external SSD to both the C drive and the 9100 on the S drive. So you'll see it's pretty much identical in the speeds that it takes to transfer over, being about 27 seconds. The clip here is a little bit sped up just to make it a little bit faster for you guys, but it took 27 seconds on both instances, so it's pretty much identical. I don't know if this is a bandwidth of the PCIe Express port or the laptop or the dock, but that is the maximum speed we are getting through this. So I guess it can only be faster when using with a proper PCIe 5.0 port. One of the clips I did transfer was a little 4K clip of my dog Wesker, so say hello to him in the footage. And the last test I decided to do was actually transferring Silent Hill 2 from the C drive to the 9100 Pro on the S drive, and then transferring it back to the C drive from the 9100 Pro, and the test results were pretty much identical again. It took 50 seconds going both ways, so yeah, it's pretty much identical in every way. So this seems to, it's more like a limitation of the PCIe Express or the dock compared to the hard drive itself. So I'm kind of stuck in a situation where I can't really see the speed of this device. So these are my thoughts on the Samsung 9100 Pro in the setup that I have. At least you can tell from this that the speeds you're going to be getting are pretty much on par with what's already in my laptop. So there seems to be a boundary of what you can push with this. So if you're looking and getting this device, the 9100 Pro, I would make sure that you know what you're getting into. So if you are future proofing your PC and you're planning on building like a new PC with PCIe Express 5.0 in the future, then yeah, this is still a good purchase because you're going to be getting good speeds anyway, and you can run your games on it perfectly. It's just that you won't be getting the full capacity out of the speeds of it. So if you are planning on putting this in a computer in the future which is capable of it, then that's great. But I think you want to look at your budget and your value of what you're going to be paying for a drive and what your purpose is for it. So if you are looking for just a good drive to run on an older machine, I think the 990 Pro or even the 980 Pro are probably going to do the job just fine, but it's all about what you want to do with it. So if you are future proofing, I think this is a good one to get because it's probably the most efficient, and if you do unlock those speeds in the future, you're going to be having a good time. So those are my thoughts. It's up to you to choose and decide what you want to do, but it's still a great drive and it works really well in any machine, I guess. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video.